Good morning everyone. It is Sunday the 7th of December and it's a beautiful sunny day. It's not going to be very warm today. It's going to be about 19 degrees, but really just a lovely clear day, which is nice because yesterday was pretty grey and rainy. We have just arrived at my son's soccer session. Jules has soccer on a Sunday morning. So I might do some laps of the oval where he trains while he does that. And then the plan is to go into town and to explore the new stations there. So there's this new metro tunnel line that has been in construction for it feels like 10 years. Huge job all through the city, lots of sites that have been completely boarded over, haven't been able to see them. And I'm really intrigued to see what that looks like and also to ride in this new tunnel. So the boys are really excited. However, on the way to soccer this morning, we went past our local station and we noticed, of all the days, it looks like there's buses replacing trains to get into the city, and there's nothing worse when you're trying to get into the city than having buses replace your train. So I'm going to look into whether there's another train line that might be better than our local. Because that will just make it a painful day. We don't want to do that. I got self-conscious because of those people driving in. The other thing is the government has made public transport free all summer on every weekend. So that's another reason why we're taking advantage today, because it won't cost us any money. But that's not that appealing to us if it's going to take us 2 hours to get into the city on a bus. So stay tuned and hopefully a little later on you'll see us getting onto a train. Great news, the buses that we saw were shuttles taking people to the Gulf. The trains are running, we're going to be fine. We've come into town and it is the most beautiful day, and we've just been to the Asian Food Festival, which was really fun. I had some delicious lunch. We are now walking back into the city to look at some of the new stations. So I got a message while we were at soccer from my next door neighbour and they came along too, which is really fun. And yeah, so now we're going to walk back into town and see what we can see. Metro Tunnel Line. Just arrived at Town Hall Station. We have not seen this area of Melbourne, I reckon, for the whole of Raph's life. had such a good day out in the town. The boys all got along really well. We had a really nice time. It was good to be out in the sunshine. And now I'm walking my kids to their dad's house. We're really lucky. We only live a street away from each other, so we can walk between the houses really easily. It's really easy for the kids. And then I'll head home and hopefully do some sewing or knitting or something like that. Haven't decided yet, but I'll see you soon. Okay, so I decided that I need to make the most of this time to do the big job that needs time and needs space, and that is putting my quilt top onto the back so that I can start quilting. So I've moved some furniture around, I've got my sheet all ironed and on the floor. This quilt top is going directly onto the sheet, no wadding, just to have a nice summer weight quilt. So that is the goal now, and maybe I'll even start quilting it tonight. I got my quilt laid out on my backing fabric, which is just a flannelette sheet, a single flannelette sheet, no wadding in between. So that was a pretty easy job. I did use the spray glue. That's the one that I use, and it makes it pretty simple and quick. And now I've started quilting it. I had to think about how I was going to go about quilting this, and I ended up going with just really, really simple straight lines, but in the opposite direction to the rest of the pattern. The quilt is designed to be all sort of vertical stripes, and then I've been quilting horizontal lines along those seams. Now I was thinking about doing the lines an inch away from the seams. I decided not to use my walking foot for this one because as there's only 2 layers of fabric, I really didn't need that walking foot to help move all the fabric through the machine, and I can go a lot faster with the stitching if I'm not using the walking foot. So yes, the positive of not using the walking foot was being able to sew the lines quicker, but the negative was I wasn't able to put in my little gauge. I've got this little attachment that hooks into my walking foot, and I can put it as far away from my foot as I want it to be to keep my lines evenly spaced apart. But I didn't have that, so I ended up deciding rather than an inch away from the seam, I would just follow the edge of my normal foot. So it's about 1/4 of an inch. And I'm quite liking the effect of it so far. I've done one side. I did remember this time to start from the middle and work out, and I've been sort of pushing my creases away as I go. So hopefully it's working well. And as I was quilting it, I was thinking, oh, I wonder if I should do the other way as well. However, I think I'm just going to keep it simple. I don't think it needs more quilting. I think the main feature of this quilt is the fact that it's got these Christmas fabrics. As long as there is some quilting in there to sort of keep these 2 fabrics together, that's perfectly enough, I think. But if you feel strongly otherwise, please let me know. So on the back, you can see the quilting lines. So every so often you just have that. So between the short rows and then between the long rows. So that's coming along well, and I will most likely finish that quilting tomorrow and then be able to start the binding pretty soon as well. So that's looking like it's going to get finished this week without any problems at all. I'll tell you a little bit more about our day. We had a great day. As I said, while we were at soccer, I heard from my next door neighbour. She's also a single mum. She's got a boy around Raf's age. He's 9 as well. The kids all get along really well. And she was wondering if we had plans today. And I said, why don't you come along with us? And they did. and it was great. The kids really enjoyed having each other's company. I really enjoyed her company. And yeah, it was a really fun day. It was an interesting day weather-wise. It felt so hot in the sun. The sun was so bright, yet it was only about 17 degrees for most of the day. So I looked up the What's on Melbourne website to see what was on and to see what we could do when we're in town. I knew that I wanted to take the children to see the new train underground system, the new tunnel that's been finished just last weekend. It opened. So that was part of the plan, but I thought, well, while we're in the city, what else could we do? So I find that looking up the What's on Melbourne website is a pretty good way to see events that are on. And I saw there was this festival, I think it was called Asian Street Food Festival or something like that. And it was in the gardens in the city, and it was just stall after stall after stall of food. They had a lot of picnic rugs out, lanterns. It was just a really beautiful setting on a perfect day. So we enjoyed that. On the way, I had kind of a surreal moment when someone tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Sarah," and I looked around and I didn't recognize this person. And she said, this is the first time this has ever happened in public. She said, "I follow you on YouTube." So that was amazing. So hello to Carol, if you're watching today. It was lovely to meet you. She is visiting here from Perth, and yeah, we both happened to be walking along the Yarra River at the same time today. So it was really lovely to meet her, and my neighbour thought it was pretty funny. And you know, she's always kind of teasing me about being an influencer, and then for someone to recognise me in public was pretty funny. So a bit of a thrill for me. I think this is where I'm going to leave the quilt for tonight, because I do need to get on and start editing this video. I have work again tomorrow morning. I'd like to get to bed at a reasonable hour, so I might make myself a cup of tea and get onto that. What I will do though, first of all, is open up that tea advent calendar. I have to say it was pretty fun trying to guess the tea flavour yesterday by smelling it, so I might give that another go. It's funny, I've gone from absolutely no surprise at all with the tea calendar to trying to make it as big a surprise as I can. Day 7. It's very yellow looking. It looks like maybe some kind of flower buds in there. I'm not very good at this game. If I had to guess something, I'd say some kind of chamomile. Let's have a look. I am good at this game, it seems. Chamomile tea's not one I really drink, but I'll give it a go tonight, and I'll let you know what I think.